now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
A magic beyond anything you could ever imagine.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Siger Farms on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Locking down the middle of the day.
You really think that's the best idea?
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
It's quite a piece of work.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer, not Charles Hanniger and Jimmy Ott for 2 more hours. Coming to you from this Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Thursday. Brought to you by Siger Farms, premium Angus beef. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the 1s and 2s. We'll do plenty over the next couple of hours. Luke Johnson talking Saints in 15 minutes. There's a new offensive tackle in the portal. I want to talk about it. There's an Ole Miss linebacker in the portal. I want to talk about it. I did a profile this morning on Trey Wilson from Florida, who LSU picked up. I got to say, I learned some things about Trey Wilson in the course of writing that piece. I want to talk about at the end of the hour. Blake Baker was with the morning show boys earlier today, so we'll get to some of what he had to say in hour number 2. Chris Blair, voice of the Tigers, will be along in an hour and 15 minutes. And 2 former Tigers involved in a big gambling issue that we will talk about in 90 minutes. Let's crank it up the way we do every day with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
Look, y'all, I was on the PMAC last night. Weird vibes. I mean, a decent SEC crowd for the PMAC. I've been going to the Pete Maravich Assembly Center for most SEC home games for now 20 years, basically. And I know what that place looks like for SEC games, and that was a pretty standard crowd. But for a long time, when Kentucky came to town, that place was pretty full. John Calipari, John Wall, Anthony Davis, the Harrison twins, Willie Cauley-Stein, Karl Anthony Towns, Devin Booker. Like, they brought people out. And a lot of times LSU was good. A lot of times LSU wasn't very good. But it was a packed house. And last night it wasn't. But the crowd got into it at the end. And LSU's heart got broken at the end. This team is finding ways to lose. In the SEC opener against A&M, you fought and scrapped and clawed without your point guard, who you didn't know you were going to be without until 2 days before the game. And you had the ball in a lead late, and you turned it over twice. Your freshman point guard wasn't ready for the moment on the road. You lost a tight game. You come back in South Carolina, get the doors blown off in the first half. You fight back from down 30, cut it to 6. Can't finish. And then last night, I'm not even talking about Vanderbilt because they're way better than you and they ran you off the floor. You found a different way to lose. And it was a heartbreaking loss to watch. It really was. Because you could envision, with 1.7 seconds on that clock, a way that LSU could claw back not only into this game, obviously they're in control of the game with 1.7 seconds left, back into the season. It was not unreasonable. But they didn't. Before we talk about the last play of the game, I want to talk about the whole game. They came out ready to play, prepared to play, executing, and at the same time got an absolute clunker from Kentucky. They got their own issues. But LSU came out, and Markel Sutton hit a couple of threes. Max McKinnon hit a 3. You were getting to the rim, getting out in transition, and Kentucky started 1 of 13 from the floor and 3 of 19. And some of that was Kentucky not knowing what the heck they were doing out there because they didn't have their point guard either, and their coach is doing a bad job this year. And some of it was LSU was really playing defense. This is an LSU team that has often been driven by like they're standing still, has often failed to close out on the three-point line, has often really struggled on defense. They were locked in. They were playing well. They were getting their hands on basketballs. They were getting deflections at the rim. They were forcing shot clock violations and late shots. It was really good. And LSU, in the first half, stretched that lead to 15 points 8 minutes in and held Kentucky off by double digits almost the rest of the first half. At one brief moment for 22 seconds, it dipped to 9. Chandler hit a 3, but LSU immediately came back and got a Rashad King jumper and pushed it to 11. And you got to the break after Tamba hits a 3, up 16 at the break. That's a great half of basketball. Well coached, well executed, well defended, well shot. You were doing all that without any help from McKinnon and Nwoku, who have been really two of your big key pieces on offense. And then the second half came. And in the second half, you saw what we're used to seeing in the first half. And this is where LSU has a problem they can't fix. They cannot chase guys off the three-point line and cool teams off from three-point range. They can't do it. Texas Tech went nuts in the first half. Prairie View A&M went nuts in the first half. South Carolina went nuts in the first half. Kentucky went nuts in the second half. They scored 53 points on 65% shooting, 73% from three-point line. That is a lack of execution, a lack of adjustments, a lack of a plan. I don't believe LSU is ill-equipped to play defense. They have some issues on the perimeter with quickness. But they have length and size. They have some athletes. Tomba's an athlete. King's an athlete. Robert Miller's an athlete. Nwoku's an athlete. They've got enough guys to play defense, and far too often they cannot. And they couldn't last night. They could not contest Otega Owe, the preseason SEC Player of the Year. Surprise, surprise, he can put the biscuit in the basket. And he did it last night, 15 points in the second half. And so you let Kentucky erase that entire lead and take a lead with 4 minutes to go. But to LSU's credit, they bowed up and got a couple stops late. They got a shot clock violation by Owe. Now, it was by the tip of his fingers, but you got the shot clock violation. You defended well enough to do that. You go down, McKinnon draws the foul, makes the 2 free throws. He had a tough night offensively. Max McKinnon finished this game 4 of 16 from the floor, but he gets the 2 free throws when you need them. You come down, Owe drives, he misses he gets fouled, 4 seconds left, free throw, misses the second free throw, and then Tama gets the ball, gets fouled, up 1, late shot clock, and he goes to the line and misses them both. And so you got a situation where Kentucky calls timeout, they're down 1 with 1.7 seconds left, and I think LSU did almost everything right on that last play. They had Markel Sutton defending the inbounder. He's 6'9" and a great athlete with long arms. So you force Kentucky to throw a baseball pass the length of the floor. You can't foul. You cannot foul. But you can play the ball. And Miller is face guarding Kentucky's center. He's in front of Malachi Moreno where he should be. And all he has to do is touch the basketball. If he touches it, LSU wins. With 1.7 left, the only way Kentucky can win is if they get a clean catch. And the ball goes 4 inches over Miller's hands, right into Moreno's hands, and he makes a free throw line jumper. I don't have a lot of beef with how LSU played it. I wish Miller would have judged the ball more properly and either backed up or waited a tick, but he jumped and didn't deflect it. And Kentucky stole one. They stole one. And it's heartbreaking for me, for Matt McMahon. And most of you, I would guess 98 to 99% of you would roll your eyes out of the back of your head hearing that. And that's fine. You're probably right. But you had a chance to win this game. You had a chance to win the A&M game. And it just feels like this program cannot get it out of neutral. They can in November and December. They can't do it in January. And every January you show up and you're out of the race. And that's what it feels like. You had to win that game last night. When you got an 18-point lead, when you got a 1-point lead and the basketball with 2 seconds to go and you can't win, it's just not meant to be. And these guys will try to get off the mat, and they'll practice today, and I'm sure they'll come out Saturday and give everything they've got. But you're now 0-4, and the odds are that things are cooked. And I'll say this. This is the one big picture thing that I'll say. It's very clear to everyone, the players, the coaching staff, the athletic director who talked to the advocate, the fans, this radio host. It's very clear where LSU basketball is right now, okay? Matt McMahon's record is very clear. You can just go look it up. Look it up on LSUsports.net. Look it up on Wikipedia. Look it up on ESPN.com. Look it up on CBS Sportsline. His record at LSU is very clear. It's right there. And that number alone is unacceptable. We understand that. That's very obvious. Here's what I'll say about that situation. The fire the coach crowd tends to be angry, tends to be cranky, tends to be a more demonstrative group than the let's wait and see crowd or the let's keep the coach crowd. That's painting with a broad brush, but that's generally speaking what you get. The fire the coach crowd is ticked. The fire the coach crowd is adamant. The fire the coach crowd will tell you they're right. I don't think this situation warrants any anger whatsoever. You are 4 years into this thing, okay? The anger level should be gone. You watch this team, or you don't. Either way, watch them or don't. There'll be lots that don't. My friend group, not going to watch this team. A lot of you will. Most of you won't. Either way, the anger thing can be shoved aside because the athletic director spoke on the record to the newspaper this week and said what he said. And they either are going to go out over the next 14 games and go 8-6, or they're not. And that's it. Like, that's it. There's no argument. There's no fighting. There's no anger. There's no, it's either watching them and pulling for them to go 8-6, or it's apathy. But like any anger that you've got right now, the athletic director's not here anymore. This coach is doing everything he can, and it's just not working right now. They're either going to rebound, get their point guard back, and go on a run that you can be proud of, or they're not, and things will change. But that's it, y'all. Like, there's not a reason to get ticked off. And if you think there not being a reason to get ticked off is a reason to get ticked off, that's a beautiful irony. But it is what it is. I was in the PMAC last night. It was a church until there were 3 minutes to go in the game. It wasn't full. Empty sections all over the place. People not really getting into it. Finally, with 3 minutes to go, those that were there were on their feet and loud, and it felt like an SEC game. But that's where things are. And that's a direct product of the fact that you have not made the NCAA tournament in 3.5 years, and this team's winless in conference and in last place. And none of that is worth arguing about or fighting about or fussing about. I told you after they lost to South Carolina, here's where it is. That's a game they had to win. Now they're going to lose to Vanderbilt. They're going to come home. They got to go 2-0. That if 1-1's the bare minimum. Now you got Saturday. And look, I'm not trying to blow smoke here. Anyone who's trying to argue with that, I think, is out of their skis as well. But still, with all that I've said about the state of the basketball program, Matt McMahon's win-loss record, all that, which everyone understands, including Matt McMahon, last night was heartbreaking to watch because it felt like they came out, gave their best effort, and they played a team that is more talented than them off their feet for 25 minutes, and they had a chance to win it late, and Kentucky did something that if you gave them 10 more tries to do, they couldn't do it again. That's heartbreaking. For a group of guys and coaches that work all year round and get up early and do everything that they're asked to do, and they go out there and they get in position, and that's a crappy break. It's a bad break. Credit the Kentucky kid. I'm not going to really credit the passer. He's just kind of chucking it there, and the freshman center's got to go make a play, and credit him for doing it. Top 25 player in the country, Kentucky Mr. Basketball, makes a great catch, turns around, and makes a great shot. But Kentucky couldn't do that again if you gave him 10 more throws at it. And that is heartbreaking for those folks inside the LSU basketball program. If you're a fan that's not heartbroken because you've long past apathy, that is more than you're right, and I can't flush for that 1 second. But I was in the building last night. I want them to win. I want them to do well. I want good things for LSU basketball. And it was heartbreaking to sit there and watch. But it puts it all on Saturday. If you can't get it done Saturday, if you're watching, that's me turning out the lights. All right, our Thursday show is brought to you by Siger Farms Premium Angus Beef. Lou Johnson talking Saints next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing. LifetimeRoofingLA.com is that website. I think that one of the things you got to take into account when you consider a new roof is just who's putting that roof on and who's advising you on that project. There are roofing companies that are dishonest, that are just out there for the money wherever they can grab it. That's never going to be the case with Lifetime Roofing. It's a roofing company you can trust. If you feel like there may be an issue with your roof, or if you feel like you maybe have age might be the reason you need a new roof, or you feel like you're maybe selling your home soon and you want an inspection on your roof. Well, let the crew at Lifetime Roofing come out and inspect. They'll come out. They'll tell you, hey, this is fine. They'll tell you, hey, we just need to do a quick repair. It's one spot. It's localized. We'll handle that. They may tell you, just need a tune-up. We need to fortify this, but it's okay in its current structure. We'll just tune it up. Or you made a new roof. But they're not going to just climb up there and go, oh, yeah, there's a missing shingle. Let's get a new roof on this bad boy. That's just not how they do business at Lifetime Roofing. You need to work with a company you can trust when it comes to a large investment like putting a new roof on your home. They've got financing available, 0% up to 18 months, and as of January 1st, can offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. Do business with a local company right here in Baton Rouge with local people, a growing team in the heart of Baton Rouge on College Drive. It's Lifetime Roofing. You can find them online at lifetimeroofingla.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you'll likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Siger Farms.
Thursday show is brought to you by Siger Farms Premium Angus Beef. Let's talk some black and gold. To do that, we bring in my good friend Luke Johnson with the NOLA.com and The Advocate. Luke, how we doing?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Let's talk coaching. I didn't like some of the things that Kellen Moore did and said really early in the season. Clearly, the Saints played some of their best football, albeit against subpar competition late in the season, but I figured he had a bad team that he was coaching as well. So what did you think of Kellen Moore's first year on the gig?
Yeah, I think overall it's hard to not to not be impressed. I'm with you. There's a lot of stuff that early on was at the bare minimum like head scratching, and at worst it was just like you were actively doing a bad job in some of these situations. But I think when you look at the season as a whole, you look at this roster that I think league-wide everybody would have agreed that it was not a good roster, right? And then they lost elements of that roster. Some of the things that we all were saying were probably the best things about it at the beginning of the year. The two explosive receivers, well, they only had one for most of the year. Their offensive line was supposed to be good. Well, it was really just two players who were good, and one of them was hurt for a number of games. It wasn't a good roster. You got 6 wins out of them. I think you saw some better situations get less out of those teams across the league this year. I think you got really good play out of 2 young quarterbacks. One of them a 5th rounder, one of them a 2nd rounder. These are not like blue chip prospects. I think there's a lot to be excited about. I think the fact that he had Brandon Staley in as his defensive coordinator and some of the other staffing decisions were just smart. I think there's a lot that you feel good about, and you hope that he is kind of humble enough to look at some of the areas where he came up short, either as a play caller, as a game manager, and kind of learns from those in 2026 and beyond.
I know that you went up to the Pacific Northwest, talked to a lot of people who know him. I only know Kellen Moore from my television screen. He appears to be kind of mild-mannered, thoughtful. Is there more fire to him than I realize? And do y'all ever see that in press conference settings?
No, I don't think fire is ever a word that we're going to use to describe him. Right? I think it's more for him. It's more about kind of being emotionally intelligent and understanding what buttons to push with people. I don't think those buttons are ever going to be like getting up into your face and the proverbial wanting to make you run through a brick wall. It's just not who he is. But I do think that he knows how to get people to respond to things. And part of that is surrounding yourself with the right people, with the people who are going to respond to that type of message. I don't think he's going to be looking for a lot of guys who need to be like pushed, motivated. At least, guys he's going to be dealing with directly. But I don't think you look around the league and there's still some guys like the Sean Paytons, right? There's still some Ben Johnsons going in the post game locker room saying F the Packers or whatever. But I think there's also quite a few people who are more similar to Kellen Moore, where they're never going to be the guy who's getting you fired up. It's just more that players know they can count on him to be smart and intentional with what he's doing and to put them in good positions to succeed. I think that matters just as much.
What do you like about Brandon Staley?
I mean, I like a lot about him. I think the fact that he did what he did with that defense this year, with it being not really, I don't think they were a super talented group. Obviously, like they got some really big stuff out of Cam Jordan and Chase Young and Demario Davis, like guys who've done it before in the NFL. But those are guys that with maybe the exception of Demario, haven't done it in a couple of years. And he did it in a scheme that was not really suited to that roster either. They kind of like had a half measure roster rebuild to run like a 3-4 base defensive scheme. So I was just super, super, super impressed with him. It's going to be hard to find a media member who says they don't like Brandon Staley. He knows how to work a press conference. He knows how to answer questions thoughtfully with respect. And, that's going to earn him points in our book. Like, there's no doubt about that. But I think that as a football coach, that he's incredibly sharp. He knows what he's doing. And I'm really excited to see what the Saints defense looks like in year 2 of his system when he's had a chance to tailor the roster more toward what he wants to do defensively.
Is the sense around the league that what happened with the Chargers was bad enough that you feel like Brandon Staley may be here a couple more years?
Well, I think it's at least like it's at least going to get him here for 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, like I do think that the way that went, people do probably want to see a little bit more proof of concept with him, other than the 1 year in LA and 1 year in New Orleans. You know, I think that he's going to have to show it a little bit more than maybe some other coaches, just because of the way that it went in that first outing. And I think that's probably true for most like retread head coaches, guys who are getting their second opportunities. But I don't think it's going to be like a Steve Spagnuolo situation, right? Where he ends up just staying in one place for however long he's been the DC in Kansas City, like 8-9 years. High level Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator, doesn't get a lot of head coaching looks because he really flamed out the one time he got it. I don't think it's going to be quite like that. I think he's still young enough. I think he was probably a little bit ahead of his time on some stuff. Like a lot of the stuff that he got kind of roasted for was the overuse of the analytical side of things, with being really aggressive on fourth down. We just saw Ben Johnson, who might win Coach of the Year, make what looked to be a bunch of boneheaded fourth down calls in a playoff game that he won, by putting up a bunch of points in the fourth quarter by continuing to stay aggressive. So, I think this is something that we'll see him be back in the cycle eventually. And I'd be surprised if he has another year like this year, if it's not, getting head coaching opportunities in 2027.
Those are the two most important pieces. Obviously, one runs the offense, one runs the defense. But and this is early, but do you sense that there will be significant continuity in the Saints staff overall? I know that the hiring season is coming up as the playoffs continue to progress. How do you feel like that'll play out?
Yeah, I think the one potential spot where they might have some turnover, and we haven't heard anything about this yet, but everybody's looking to see what's going to happen with special teams. I think their special teams units were, like, without question, bad last year under Phil Galliano, who was one of the very few coaches who was a holdover from Dennis Allen's staff, right? So I think there's a chance that they make a change there, but I think Kellen's also somebody who probably wants a little bit of continuity, and he could say, we'll give you another year to kind of figure it out with some different players and some different sides, like some different aspects from our process, from Kellen Moore's process. Maybe he gives them a little bit more time to practice on special teams. We don't know exactly how all that went. But I think there's no question they have to be better there in 2026 for them to continue keeping him on, because that was his first go as a coordinator, and it went really, really poorly. They've got to get a lot better in that area.
We shall see as the offseason continues to roll on. Luke, we appreciate some time. We'll chat next week.
My pleasure, man.
Luke Johnson with The Advocate, at by Luke Johnson on Twitter. He's NOLA.com and The Advocate. Good enough to give us a little insight on the black and gold each and every week. When we come back, 2 more transfer portal targets for LSU, one on the offensive line, one at linebacker. We'll tell you who next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Our friends at Oxford want you to kickstart 2026 the right way with some wellness goals. And they give you an acronym right here. SMART, S-M-A-R-T goals. Starts with setting your goals, making them specific, right? Run a 5K or add a couple of pounds of muscle, like something that seems reasonable for you. Make them measurable so you can track your workouts, time your runs, log your reps. Make them achievable. Don't jump into like a 7-day-a-week routine if you're just starting out. Or realistic. Choose goals that work with your lifestyle. A lot of folks are busy. You can't just spend all your time working on fitness and your diet. You got to spend some time raising kids, handling your job, whatever the case may be. So make them realistic and give yourself a time frame. A target date can really help make all the difference. So specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and a time frame. The small wins matter. Stick to that SMART acronym as you kickstart your 2026. And remember, small wins do matter. It doesn't have to just be something massive. Small wins are important as you continue to worry about your wellness as we enter 2026. That's all thanks to our friends over at Ochsner.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
My father, J.B. Falgout, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgout.
This new year, Hood Dental wants you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays, a $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care, Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And for January only, save 15% up to $150 on restorative treatment. Schedule today at hooddentalcare.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Siger Farms.
Hello, everyone. Reminding you about my friends up at Fabry Chevrolet GMC, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Under new ownership now with the Fabry family. You know the Fabry family, been here 35 years, had 3 locations, 5 different brands. Now, proud to bring you Chevrolet GMC up in St. Francisville. Look, you know when you deal with the Fabrys, you're going to get quality customer service. You're going to get great service after the sale as well. It's going to be a pleasant buying experience. Need a Chevy Tahoe, Chevy Suburban? They got you covered here in 2026. We've also got Silverados if you're in the truck game. On the GMC side, Sierras, Yukons, Denali's. If you're looking for a new vehicle, whether it's new or pre-owned, they've got you over there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Before you go to St. Francisville and check out that inventory, and it's large, go to FabryChevrolet.com. You can see the entire inventory right there in front of you. You've got pictures and details on all the vehicles, all the great deals that they've got there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. If you're itching to get in the new car, maybe your lease is coming up here in the next couple of months and you want to start looking, Fabry Chevrolet GMC, happy to help you here in 2026. Highway 61 in St. Francisville, and of course online at FabryChevrolet.com. All right, transfer portal still open. Dead period ended on Wednesday. There was a 3-day dead period for the coaches convention. Now coaches back in their respective places on campus, and they are now hosting visitors once again. And there are two entrants to the transfer portal that I think LSU should have some interest in. And the first is an interesting case because of obviously where he comes from. That is TJ Daugherty at Ole Miss. TJ Daugherty played linebacker for the Rebels this year and led Ole Miss in tackles. He made 98 stops. He had 5.5 tackles for loss, had a sack and a half. Started right there in the middle of Ole Miss's defense. 6'2", 230 pounds, redshirt junior. Was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. Went to Clemson, ended up at Ole Miss. And after I read that, you go 4-star, top 10 linebacker in the country out of high school, redshirts at Clemson, goes to Ole Miss, plays a couple of years, leads a Final Four team in tackles at linebacker. You go, well, that makes all the sense in the world. Go get him. And I think LSU will make a significant play for TJ Daugherty. There are other details, though, that need to be discussed here. One, Pro Football Focus did not love TJ Daugherty's play this year. I went to Ole Miss's defensive page, and you have to scroll down 44 names to find TJ Daugherty's overall grade. Pro Football Focus had him playing 958 snaps on defense. His overall grade was 54.4. His grade in run defense was 60.2. His tackling was 60.5, and his defense against the pass 51.7. He led Ole Miss in missed tackles as well with 16. Now, you're right there at the line of scrimmage. That's a likely deal. Suntarine Perkins was one of the best Ole Miss defenders on the edge this year, and he had 14 missed tackles, according to PFF. So when you look at his production, it's really good. Is his play elite? That is to be determined. And Pro Football Focus doesn't determine everything. And certainly Lane Kiffin knows a lot about TJ Daugherty. So if he thinks he's a guy he wants to add to this defense, more power to him. There's also an element of a bit of a history with TJ Daugherty when he was at Clemson. And so there were some things that happened off the field. I don't know all the details there. And he's a couple years beyond it. Again, Lane Kiffin knew about that then, knows about it now. If you're willing to bring him into the program, that I don't have a problem with it. Interestingly enough, I was listening to Blake Baker on with the guys in this morning and wrote about what he had to say in LSU dealing with folks in the transfer portal. And I didn't realize in the moment, because everything was so fast and furious with exits and entrants, LSU did not lose a scholarship linebacker with eligibility remaining. Whit Weeks is back. Devon Keys is back. Tylen Singleton's back. Zach Weeks is back. Jaden Breaker's back. Charles Ross is back. Keelan Moses is back. Like, they didn't lose anybody. And that, to me, speaks volumes about Blake Baker. And I think LSU can improve at linebacker. I think they have a solid nucleus there. Right now, if I was standing right here in front of you on January 15th, who's going to start against Clemson if they put 3 linebackers on the field? I think that's Whit Weeks, Devon Singleton, and Devon Keys and Tylen Singleton, I should say. But if you want to add Ole Miss's leading tackler, 98 stops to that equation, and get him in the mix, I don't have a big problem with that. I don't think he's a bad player at all. I think he's a very productive player, and I think that maybe a new set of eyeballs with Blake Baker and maybe a better supporting cast perhaps could allow him to have an even better year than he had last year. But certainly something that LSU will look at because of where he comes from. He has not yet made a visit, just went into the transfer portal in the last 24 hours, and we'll see whether or not he makes his way to Baton Rouge. The word is that he very well might. So that's one that I'm interested in. The other is on the offensive line, where LSU simply has to make a splash. They are not done at offensive line. Everybody wants to talk about Jordan Seaton, and I'll talk about him when that time comes. We mentioned him earlier this week. He'll visit Texas a little bit later. But the name that I want to talk about right now actually comes from Baylor. His name's Melvin Siani. He started all 13 games. Not Baylor, Wake Forest. Started all 13 games at left tackle for Wake Forest this season. And he's 6'6", 302 pounds. And his overall offensive grade on PFF was 72.8. That was third best on Wake's entire offense. Pass blocking grade, 80.7. In the ACC, at left tackle at 6'6", 302. That's what I'm talking about. I've talked about this all week. I do trust Lane Kiffin. I do trust Billy Glasscock. I do trust Eric Wolford and James Craig and these guys to evaluate and to take in guys that they think can help. Like, they know way more than me. I'm not even trying to step on their toes with an analysis. But I'm just saying it makes me feel better to bring in guys with P5 starting experience that have excelled. And this is one of those. Melvin Siani appears to me to be a guy, yes, you want to take. Devin Harper, Ole Miss, reserve, former 4-star, yeah, I want that guy too. Obviously, if you can get Seton, bring him on. That's great. But this is another name that just popped in, and right now I'm just uncomfortable with where LSU's offensive line sits. And if you can bring in somebody that had that kind of success in the ACC, it doesn't immediately translate. I watched Deuce Chestnut play, I know. But I like my chances. And I like my chances better with a guy with those measurables in that conference as opposed to a MEAC transfer or a JUCO transfer. And I look at LSU's tackle situation right now and I go, well, I'm just not really sure. And if you can bring me an ACC tackle transfer that Pro Football Focus graded an 80.7 at pass blocking, 80.7, I'm in on that. There's something in me that wants to go look at what Will Campbell's pass blocking grade was, because I bet it wasn't significantly better than 80.7. And I think everyone would roundly agree that Will Campbell was a pretty good pass blocker at LSU. Like, I think that's a reasonable conclusion to come to. And an 80.7 just doesn't happen all the time. So now I've gotten the PFF. We'll get to blocking. And I want to see what Will Campbell's grade was in 2024 on the pass blocking side. Will Campbell, pass protection, perfect. 80.6. Now, I would suggest that Will Campbell, dealing with that Ole Miss defense and that Bama defense and that A&M defense and that Florida defense and that, USC defense, whatever, was probably better than what Wake played. But if Will Campbell's grading out 80.6 pass blocking and this guy graded out 80.7, like, I'm not an offensive line expert, and I'm not telling you that Pro Football Focus is the gospel. I'm just telling you, I'd like to add that guy to a room that's incomplete right now at tackle. So I think that's a reasonable take. I'll stand by that take. I think that's where I would head if I was LSU. Hopefully they can get him on campus. He just entered the transfer portal this week, so we'll see if LSU can get a visit there. I'm still nervous about the offensive line. I hope they continue to pump guys in there on the offensive front. All right, to finish the hour, I saw some things this morning on highlight tapes that excited me. And I want to talk about one of LSU's offensive additions and what he could be with Lane Kiffin's offense when we come back next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Marucci, what a gem here in Baton Rouge. Love the folks over at Marucci. It's just a cool thing for us to have access here. I watched a lot of Major League Baseball. I was watching Alex Bregman's press conference in Chicago today. He welcomed him in. He's wearing number 3. Wants to win his 3rd championship. But Alex Bregman plays a lot of Major League Baseball, and Marucci is the official bat of Major League Baseball. When you consider it just took 2 decades for them to go from making a bat in a wooden shed, in the backyard, to the official bat of Major League Baseball. It's an amazing story. Go learn about it. Go take a tour of Marucci. You can go to maruccisports.com/campus tour. Whether you've got a youth baseball team, a youth softball team, if there's a class field trip that might be cool for a bunch of folks to go see. Maybe just you want to go check it out. Go to maruccisports.com and click on Campus Tour to make it happen. They make 1,200 bats a day. And if you want to, you can grab a bat, go hit in the cage over there at Marucci. Check them out online at maruccisports.com. Book that Campus Tour. It's maruccisports.com.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, ironworkers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here, helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal. Football fans are some of
the... You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Siger Farms.
Shout out to my friends at Siger Farms, premium Angus beef. Told this story last week, but on the way up to Shreveport for Christmas, stopped off at Siger Farms up there in Ethel, headed north, so decided to stop by. It was my first time on the farm, and man, what an incredible piece of property that Sean's got, and a really impressive operation that he's got there. But the best part was I got loaded down with 4 boxes of Siger Farms premium Angus beef, brought it up to Shreveport, kind of dispersed it. We got a big family on my mom's side for Christmas, so we dispersed it to a lot of folks, and there was a family group text circulating on New Year's Eve. Just a couple days later, everybody was pulling out the roasts, everybody's pulling out the ribeyes, the fillets, the strips, and putting them on the grill, preparing them how they would at home, and everybody just blown away at the quality of this beef. It's just awesome. If you are into a great cut of meat, this is where you need to be getting your beef, because it's top 1% in the country. I tell you all the time about the intramuscular fat score and how they grade beef. You've got select, which is 0 to 3 on the scale. You've got choice, which is about 60% of your beef. That's 3 to 7, 8. And then you got 8 plus, which is prime. Sean's cows are ultrasound. That's not a guess. They don't just like cut it open and look at it and go, oh, that's probably what it is. This is ultrasound. They've got the scores. You're talking about 8, 9 as prime. They're 14, 16, 18, 19, 20 on this scale. Better than twice prime grade. The ground beef is phenomenal for burgers. The ribeyes are sensational as well. I love them. I got some in the freezer now. So does most of my family. If you'd like to change the way you buy your beef, do it from my friends at Siger Farms. Contact Sean. Say, hey, heard about you on the Hunt Palmer Show. Want to make sure I'm buying my beef from you moving forward. He'd be happy to have you there. I'll give you his phone number here. And you can just reach out to him directly. It's the beauty of it. You just contact Sean, call him, say, hey, heard about you on the Hunt Palmer Show. What do you have for me? And Sean will be happy to oblige. That phone number is, of course, 225, because he's right here, just north of Baton Rouge in Ethel. And then give him a phone call at 719-1723. That's 225-719-1723. All right, closing out the hour, I'm doing a series on LouisianaSports.net called Portal Profile, where I go through every single portal edition LSU makes, and I go through what we know about that player. I go through what we think about the fit, and then my kind of projection for what each player could be. And today's was on Eugene Trey Wilson. I'm going to call him Trey moving forward. I think that's his preferred. That's what he was introduced as at the basketball game last night. He's Eugene Wilson III, goes by Trey. 5-star recruit coming out of the Tampa area. Big get for Billy Napier. And he comes in as a 5-star recruit, and he rocks it as a freshman. 61 catches, 538 yards, 6 touchdowns, 6 carries for 55 yards, making big plays for Billy Napier's team as a 5'10 slot receiver. They use him in the jet sweep game. They use him down the field. They use him in the slot, and he's just making big plays. After that, he got hurt a lot. Played 4 games as a sophomore, significant hip injury, can't play the rest of the season, takes a redshirt year. Comes back last year, only able to play in 8 games, has a high ankle sprain at the end, costs him the rest of his season. But when you turn on the highlight tape of Trey Wilson, you see the 5-star. I'm not a doctor. We can talk to the folks at Auctioner on Monday about this. But I don't feel like a high ankle sprain in October of this year is going to derail his year at LSU next year. Now, there could be a new injury. That could happen with anybody. But like the high ankle sprain, I'm pretty concerned about Will Levitt's Lisfranc. BT yesterday put me at ease with what he went through, but like still Lisfranc injury, surgery, slow healing, no practice time. We'll see. Trey Wilson, high ankle sprain, like I think he'll be back and ready to go. And you see when they get him in open space in this Florida offense, and I've got some highlights in the piece, he turns the corner and he is flying. And he makes guys miss, and he's a water bug out there. And he reminds me a little bit of like Xavion Thomas, but another gear. And so that's really exciting when you consider the pace and the space that Lane Kiffin's offense plays with. There are so many guys that have been brought into this offense at wide receiver. They've got like 12 newcomers. When you count the transfer portal ads, 3 high school kids, like they're bringing in a ton of new dudes at wide receiver. And some of them are 6'2" and 6'3", and some of them are on the smaller side, and some of them are better athletes, and some of them have more speed. Wilson is just your classic, put him in the slot, run the jet sweep game, let him work guys in the slot, in the intermediate game, and he will make some big plays. In his final game at Florida this past year against Georgia, Wilson goes 9 catches, a $121, and a touchdown. Like that's the kind of guy you're getting if you can keep him on the field. And the play that like really stood out to me was a play from a couple years ago. He goes 85 yards for a touchdown on this jet sweep pop pass thing. And he turns it on to a degree like he's leaving these defenders standing still. Now, they're not playing the best team I've ever seen, but the burst of speed that he shows, like I didn't recall that from Trey Wilson. Now, he scored a touchdown against LSU last year. And it was a shorter little sweep that he took into the end zone from about 6 yards out, and I've got that in the video as well. But it caught my eye. Like I've watched highlights of all these guys that I've talked about and that I've written about, and I haven't had this type of reaction to watching the highlight tape. You see the 5-star in Trey Wilson, and playing in a Billy Napier offense that had issues at quarterback with injuries with Mertz, and that he had injuries, and it just nothing ever worked offensively for Florida during the Napier era. Can we agree on that? And can we also agree at the same time that almost everything Lane Kiffin does on offense works? I don't think those are outlandish statements to make. Florida's offense was bad under Napier. Kiffin's offenses are good everywhere. A piece like this, you take him out of that offense, put him into this one, we'll see. Now, I tried to say the same thing with Barryon Brown last year. You could run the tape. Well, Kentucky couldn't complete a forward pass. Now you got Garrett Nussmeier. You've got Joe Sloan calling the plays. They threw for 4,000 yards. Barryon Brown's going to go nuts this year. Well, that didn't happen. But I think Kiffin's a safer bet than the LSU staff from last year on the offensive side of things. Can we agree on that? I think that's a fair thing to say too. So I'm excited about Trey Wilson moving forward. I think that's a guy who could be a huge piece to what LSU is trying to do next year. If you're looking for 2 guys that I like the most on LSU's offensive group that they brought in at the skill spots, I think it's Jace Brown from Kansas State, and I think it's Trey Wilson from Florida. It's for 2 different reasons. Brown is the production. fastest Kansas State receiver to 1,000 yards. Kansas State's sophomore record holder in terms of receiving yards in a season. Big-time producer. This is the talent. Got to keep him healthy, but again, I don't think a high ankle sprain is going to be what derails his 2026 season. He should be good to go in the spring. He should be good to go for LSU against Clemson, and I'm excited about Trey Wilson in this Lane Kiffin, Charlie Weiss offense. That's it for hour number 1. We're brought to you by Siger Farms Premium Angus Beef. Missed anything in the first hour? Catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. We got a lot to do in hour number 2. Blake Baker talked to the guys on the morning show. We'll talk about that. And Chris Blair will be here in 20 minutes on The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is that website. New year, looking for a project in the home. How about a new bathroom? Maybe it's not your bathroom. Maybe it's someone you love because they're aging and bathroom can be a pretty hazardous place. It's wet, slips and falls, hard floors, unforgiving areas. You can't completely eliminate that risk, but you can mitigate against it. David and his team do it all the time. Non-slip floors, they can do that. Put handrails in slippery areas. They can do that. Walk-in tubs, they're safer, they're more convenient, more comfortable. They can do that. How about a shower with a bench? David Duvall and his team can handle that as well. So if you've never given that any thought, you're thinking, oh, that does make some sense. Aging, dangerous area. Maybe I need to do something to mitigate that risk. Just contact David. Go to OneBathAndClosets.com, set up that free consultation, and move forward with that project. It's David Duvall and One Bath and Closets online at OneBathAndClosets.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
My father, J.B. Falgout, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgout.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
With all the delicious chicken finger options, it was an impossible decision.
How about a box combo? Good. Now what can I get for you?
No, I want a Caniac combo with extra cane sauce, no slog, 2 extra toast, and a half sweet tea, half lemonade.
Celebrate the holidays with Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. More than 24 defendants, including 20 current or former college basketball players, have been charged in a college basketball point-shaving scheme that began in college hoops in the U.S. for the 2023-2024 season. Fixers recruited players to the scheme by offering bribes ranging from $10,000 to $30,000 to intentionally underperform. NFL looks like former Ravens coach John Harbaugh is Big Apple bound. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports he and the Giants working to finalize an agreement to make him their next head coach. Barring any setbacks, Harbaugh's ready to accept the deal, and the team's expected to hire him soon. ESPN NFL analyst Andrew Hawkins.
That equals contention, that equals stability, that equals a franchise and a leader that can put you on a path to a Super Bowl and back to hoisting the Lombardi, because what Harbaugh brings to the Giants is what they desperately need. They don't have a culture that they could cling to or have been able to cling to since Coughlin left, and that's what Harbaugh is. That's what he represents.
NBA Warriors forward Jonathan Kuminga's demanded a trade. Hasn't been on the floor the last 13 games. Golden State wants expiring contracts in return for him.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Friday, the best weekend of the NFL is finally here, and I'll tell you what you need to know to get you ready for the divisional round. It's on SportsFan like 6 a.m. Eastern right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
A magic beyond anything you could ever imagine.
You are now listening to the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Siger Farms on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Locking down the middle of the day.
You really think that's the best idea?
Live from the Raising Cane's studio, this is Hunt Palmer.
It's quite a piece of work.
Hour 2, Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, working towards the weekend. We'll talk to the voice of the Tigers, Cliff Blair, coming up in about 15 minutes. Thursday show is brought to you by Siger Farms, premium Angus beef as well. That gambling story that you heard about at SportsCenter at the top of the hour actually involves 2 former LSU Tigers and some in-state basketball. So we'll talk about that in 30 minutes. A wild story. People are... I don't even have a way to speak about this more tactfully than this. People are so stupid. It's unbelievable how stupid people are. But we'll talk about it in 30 minutes. I want to talk right now about Blake Baker and his interview this morning on Off the Bench with Matt and Jake. I thought Blake was great as always on the air. If you missed the interview, you can go back and catch it on demand on OTB's LSU page. But I want to play some of the sound that you got from that interview and kind of give some thoughts on it. He was pretty open about the way that LSU's portal process goes. It's brand new. They've only been at this less than 3 weeks, but there's a process that goes through Lane Kiffin and Billy Glasscock and obviously Blake Baker down through the position coaches, and there are a lot of things that need to be worked out. Certainly, the depth chart is important. Certainly, playing time is important. Certainly, dollars and cents are now very important, and there are a lot of different ways to make those dollars and cents work. So they were kind of talking about Blake and his role in, 1, retaining LSU's roster, and 2, going to recruit new guys. And this is what Blake had to say about the process of building the next roster.
We really just talk football. You know, we rely on our front office with Billy Glasscock and his staff to, talk about the money. And I don't really ever want to know how much they're making because I don't want that to influence me on who I play. And it's no different when it comes for a coach to decide if they want to pick up and leave or not. But kind of a rule of thumb, I tell guys, if they're talking about doubling your money, that's probably something that you really need to listen to. But if not, man, you got to look at what's the best situation from a development standpoint and just growing as a football player and as a man. Every time you get up and leave, you're having to learn a new system, learn new teammates, learn a bunch of new stuff. And so, like it or not, it doesn't matter who you are. It's going to slightly set you back in some ways.
So that's an interesting look at how this thing works. Blake Baker is not offering guys cash. Blake Baker is not promising NIL deals. He's not working the salary cap. Blake Baker turns on the tape, says, here's you, here's what you can do, here's what we do, watch you do this. Here's what my depth chart looks like. Here's what we're looking at in terms of use. This is what we do on defense. Here's our plan. Here's how we develop guys. These are the guys we put in the NFL. That's his job. And then Billy Glasscock has got to sit down and talk dollars and cents with him. Lane Kiffin's got to handle that conversation as well. The agents will deal with all that. Blake Baker works with the kids. And he mentioned in that bite, I don't want to know how much they make because I don't want that to influence playing time. And he kind of elaborated on that thought and gave an NFL parallel.
That's why I don't want to know. I think it's human nature. I think 2 things. One, it's human nature if you are a coach and you know that Johnny's getting X amount of dollars, like, oh gosh, we better make sure. Just like in the NFL. I mean, you guys play in the NFL. That happens a lot. The guy that gets drafted in the first round is going to get a lot more opportunities than the guy that got drafted in the 7th round. So if we can avoid that as coaches and take that out of the equation, we're going to make sure that we play the best players. And, a lot of times they're compensated accordingly.
You just got to be honest. And you're going to tick kids off this day and age. They're moving so quickly. It's a lot of what's in it for me. That's not every player, but it's a lot. And you just got to deal with it. You're going to have disgruntled players all the time. Now, winning's going to mask a ton of it if you can do that. And LSU's planning on that. But you've got to disregard the dollars and cents. You're not playing under a salary cap. You don't have any first-round picks. You put the team together. You allot the dollars, and then you got to go out there and put the best team on the field. And it looks like that's what Blake Baker's plan is. And LSU's best team, thankfully for LSU, is going to include Whit Weeks when he comes back next year. And that's the plan. That's what he's going to do, and he's a big piece to what LSU wants to do. But Blake Baker talked about the process of getting Whit Weeks back.
Whit and I had multiple conversations about what was the best decision for him, not about me or not about LSU football or what did he think the best decision for him was. But it's very, very great to have him back. He's really an extension of me. We're extremely close. I mean, we talk probably on the phone more than me and my wife, it's sad to say. But I think that's important because I always say players are a reflection of their coach. And if he's an extension of me, I think that's going to pay off. I know it pays off dividends. We all saw that last year on the field and off the field.
One of the things that was obvious to me in speaking with Whit, and we did a lot over the course of a season, even though he was hurt, we talked to him a good bit. It's just one of the guys they usually send out on Tuesdays. He thinks a ton of Blake Baker, and that's why when I was thinking about whether or not Whit would come back or go to the NFL, I was like, one of the factors here is Blake Baker and his relationship with Blake Baker. There's the fact that they didn't win this year and they were looking at it, and that may drive him too. And then, of course, there's the girlfriend aspect where his girlfriend's dad's now the head coach, and like that adds an interesting dynamic. And there are a lot of things to me that lined up that Whit may indeed come back, and it went that way. And now that he's coming back, he's intent on making this the best team that it can possibly be, and that's going to be due to his leadership on the practice field, in the meeting room, and certainly on the field when game times come. But there's a recruiting aspect of this too, and Whit's right in the middle of that.
He's been, heavily involved in this recruiting transfer portal class. The one thing about Whit and really all of our guys, man, is they just want to win. And, y'all probably saw he's out to dinner with quarterbacks and people on the other side of the ball. It's because he wants what's best for LSU. So he's going to have a hell of a year next year.
And one of the things that they asked Blake Baker about was when he's going on. I mean, he went to dinner with Sam Levitt, and they were at the basketball game with Sam Levitt, and Trey Wilson was there with them as well. And Whit's involved in all of that. And whether it's kind of a sales analogy. Recruiting kind of is sales in that way, where some folks are just really good at closing deals, and some guys just aren't. And Whit's part of that from the player perspective with what LSU's doing in terms of recruiting, both in the portal and in high school. And they asked Blake Baker, is he kind of like your closer?
Because he's so genuine, and I think players respect that. And obviously the clout he has just from, being a really good player, I think people respect that. But then when you get to know him and how genuine and how real he is, it's recruiting 101. Be yourself, and he's a great ambassador of LSU football. So he's probably our ace up our sleeve when it comes to closing guys.
I don't know Whit Weeks at all. I've talked to him 11 times, but that comes through. It really does, and everyone that is around him feels that way as well. So I'm confident that's the true representation of who Whit Weeks really is, and that's such a great thing to have in the middle of your football program. And make no mistake, like, he's right in the middle of LSU's football program. Like, your quarterback now has not even been on campus. That's going to be new to the entire offense. Your whole offensive staff is new. You've got an entirely new offensive line. Got a couple running backs back, but a whole new wide receiver core. But your defense has some continuity. In the middle of that is Whit Weeks, the captain. He is the face of LSU football right now, and that is a huge feather in his cap. And it's a great thing for LSU as well. So that was important to kind of hear about the process, how that works, and that Witt's in the middle of all of it. But the result is the players, right? The guys that they brought in. And they asked Blake Baker like what he was most excited about in terms of bringing guys in. And I think the answer, he was pretty upfront about it. And it didn't surprise me because they haven't made any additions at linebacker and they haven't really made a ton of additions in the secondary, just the safety from Boise. But up front they have, and Blake Baker looks excited about it.
You know, I think the biggest thing to me is going to be our depth in the front four. I think with what we've been able to do in the portal so far, you know, it's something that we've lacked my first couple of years here. We've got a lot of guys with a lot of experience and then still super high on the guys that we currently have and the freshmen that are enrolling. I think we've got a chance to really look like LSU looked for a long, long time up front.
That would be really good. I trust him in his evaluation. I trust LSU in their front office in terms of getting that right. I feel like they brought in a lot of guys who have, you know, steady, solid production in places that they've been. I'm hopeful that they get great play out of the defensive front because if we've learned anything from Miami this year, from Indiana this year, learned anything at all from Georgia over the years, you got to win at the line of scrimmage. And I just don't know that LSU has been dominant up front of the line of scrimmage. I think they were okay this year. I think they were okay the year before that. They're not dominant. And if they can be dominant at the point of attack, dominant at the line of scrimmage, dominant at defensive tackle, and affecting the passer late in games to try to close them out, you can have a better football team, a better defense. And there have been times where LSU just hasn't been that recently, and hopefully that's the case moving forward. It sounds like Blake Baker's excited about it. I'll take his word for it. Thursday show is brought to you by Siger Farms Premium Angus Beef. We will come back, talk to the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair, next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. Swing Easy, GCBR.com is the website. They're on Segan at Perkins. Awesome place to go hang out. If you want to play some golf, but you don't have 5 hours, it's going to be chilly this weekend, don't want to bundle up and go play, having trouble getting to tee time, grass kind of dormant this time of year, maybe not the best time to get out and play. Swing Easy Golf Club allows another option. It's just another way to play golf. It's not the exact same as going to play the 5-hour round of golf, but it's a lot of fun. I was there last weekend. We fired up TPC Sawgrass. You can play at Cypress Point or Pebble Beach or St. Andrews or Carnoustie or Troon or Bethpage Black. They got them all. Tee it up, hit your tee shots, hit your iron shots, chips, putts, keep a score, bet your buddies, grab a cold beer, grab a seltzer, glass of wine while you're in there, crank the tunes up. Great place to hang out at Swing Easy Golf Club. You can be a member, too. Get you some perks in there, including free hours every single month if you are a member and pay those dues. It's Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. They're on Segan at Perkins. You can find them online at swingeasygcbr.com, but stop by Swing Easy Golf Club.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, Call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Siger Farms.
Thursday show is brought to you by Siger Farms Premium Angus Beef. We're going to talk about this gambling scandal that just rocked college basketball earlier today. There are some LSU angles, 2 former Tigers, some Louisiana colleges involved. We'll talk about it coming up. It includes a $242,000 bet on Duquesne to cover the first half number. I'm just here to tell you that's probably not a great idea. Let's talk about some college basketball from last night inside the PMAC with the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair. He was courtside as Kentucky beat the buzzer to beat LSU. Chris, how we doing?
Doing good, Hunt. Doing good.
Get some Leitner vibes last night?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it to you via text after the game. I mean, that's a gut punch. There's no doubt about it. But I'm sitting there in that timeout prior to 1.6 put on the clock, and they've got to go the distance. And yeah, there's all types of things and so many variables that have to go right to make that play. But I don't like playing Kentucky in that situation, just simply because I think if you believe in fate, if you believe in irony, I just didn't have a good feeling. I frankly was hoping that after Oweh had missed the free throw, and we were able to get the rebound ultimately and fouled. But I know Markell did a great job to get the ball to Tamba, but I really would have loved for him to get it and toss it, keep it in bounds, and just sling it to the backcourt and let time run out. But it didn't work that way. And again, that's a split decision and an instant nanosecond that you have to make. But no, I did not like the feeling, as improbable as it may seem, going back to Christian Leitner's shot, breaking the hearts of Kentucky fans. I just think basketball gods are going to lean Kentucky's way when you give them that opportunity.
How many years of buzzer beaters in that fashion do they have to hit to make up for the Leitner shot?
Well, I'm sure if you talk to Kentucky fans, they would say never. Yeah, I mean, it was a tough game. I mean, obviously LSU, I'm sure you noticed it. Everybody noticed it. A much better start, certainly than the previous 2 SEC games. And frankly, not South Carolina, but I think Vanderbilt's head and shoulders better than Kentucky. Talent-wise, Kentucky's very talented, but I don't know how many people saw it that were in attendance last night. But that first half, I mean, there were players, waving Coach Pope off, Coach Pope yelling at players. There were coaches getting in each other's faces. I mean, it was kind of wild to see. Now, I've got a lot of good friends that I grew up with that are diehard Kentucky fans, and that's something they've been saying all season. And a lot of times when you see them on TV, you don't see that. But I was kind of shocked at how it was handled. But obviously, you got to give them credit. Whatever they said at halftime looked like a different team. There was less of the body language in that second half, and obviously I'm sure a lot of it had to do because shots started to fall, and Otega Oweh took over the game. But I think LSU got off to the great start. They just have not been able to put together a 40-minute game, certainly in SEC play. And now they're 0-4. They got a very good Missouri team coming in Saturday. And again, without DJ Thomas, I've said it for 2 weeks now. I think not only do you get what he brings to the table individually, I just think he makes this motor go so much smoothly. I think, we haven't really seen Mike Nwoko be able to take control of the game. I know he had a high-scoring game against Texas A&M, but it's just different. That was the plan for LSU, was to go at Kentucky and score 40 or 50 points in the paint. And while they were able to get to the paint in the first half, they never really able to take advantage of Nwoko down there. And unfortunately, they were unable to foul out Moreno, and then he hits the improbable 17-footer to win it.
With Nwoko, I mean, that's a guy who was among the conference's top scorers, certainly in the nation in terms of field goal percentage. In his last 3 games, 6 points, 6 points, 3 points. It's just obvious that he needs DJ to feature him, and he's great playing off DJ. Without him, it just hasn't worked. And I did think, and I asked Matt McMahon this after the game, that with Nwoko scoring 3 and McKinnon going 4 of 16, LSU was still in control with 2 seconds to play in the game. There's encouragement in that because LSU's role players played better, but you lost. So I'm not sure where to stand on it.
Yeah, no, I think you're 100%. I mean, I think, again, going back to what I said, I think, again, I'm going to give Jalen Reese a lot of credit. He was certainly thrown into the deep end to start SEC play. I thought he played very well last night. I mean, but is he ready to be a 38-minute point guard in the SEC? No, I think, he wants to be, and I think eventually he will be. But is he ready now? No. I think there's so much that opposing teams have to commit to slowing down DJ that they now can go into the game going, okay, we can't let, we'll let Rashad King go for 18. If he can score 18, great. If Jalen Reese can score 11 or 12, that's great. But we are not going to allow Mike Nwoko, who shoots nearly 70% from the field, get the ball time and time again down low and score 22 points. So, again, you're getting some input from role players, but I think you're still missing the main ingredient to the mix.
I would completely agree with that. How shocked do you think this team is that they're 0-4 in league play after what they did in November and December?
That's the thing that scares me the most. I mean, and I kind of talked to Matt about it last night. I mean, obviously, the message has to be, guys, I don't know, I'm pulling this off the top of my head. 3/4 of the game last night, we did things, we made winning plays to win a game. There were a handful here, offensively and defensively. We just didn't make the plays, and we came up short. And now we're 0-4. And you hear the noise. You're on social media. You know what the mood is around the program. How long can you keep that up? Again, there's 14 conference games remaining. Certainly you don't throw in the towel at this point, but my concern is now that you've gone 0-4 and then you come off that emotional game where, I mean, they were having so much fun in that first half. You could just watch it, their body language, their smile, their high fives, the substitutions coming in and off the bench. They were enjoying things. And then suddenly you just have your guts ripped out on the floor. And then you got to get ready for a Missouri team. And to me, that's where we'll see. And there's not a whole lot the coaching staff can say other than, guys, it's all going to be dependent on how you pick yourself up. And unfortunately now we've heard that for 4 straight games. So you start to wonder how long before that really makes an impact.
We shall see. Baseball team ranked number 1 and number 2 by a couple preseason polls. I'm curious, you spent a lot of time around Jay. Paul Maneri would say this in preseason. He'd say, I'd rather be number 1 in preseason than number 40. It means I think people think we got a pretty good team. What do you think Jay thinks?
I think he thinks, I think he probably, if he was asked this, he would probably say publicly, yeah, that's great. It's great to have that type of respect. And that would probably be the end of the statement on it. I don't know that he would go much further into that. I think he would point to the fact that that's the respect that this program has and has had for a number of years, but it certainly has climbed over the last, since Jay's been here. But I think he'll tell you, at the end of the day, it's about getting to Omaha and winning a title. And there's a long 56-game regular season to get there. And it'd be great if you can go wire to wire number 1. But if you think that's a goal for Jay Johnson and this baseball team, you'd be sorely mistaken.
That is correct. I believe the first pitch banquet is tonight for LSU baseball, as they will meet with the media coming up a week from tomorrow. Chris, what's coming up on the network?
Well, we get ready for Missouri, man. Obviously we've got both coaches' shows for Kim Mulkey and Matt McMahon going on Mondays and Tuesdays. This coming week we'll be there on Wednesday with Matt because the Tigers head back out on the road to take on the defending Florida Gators on Tuesday in beautiful Gainesville, Florida. And so that's what I'm looking forward to. But I'm really looking forward to Saturday's game. I mean, number one, you got the 86 Final Four team coming back. Talking to people on campus, there's a number of that team. I mean, there's going to be a lot of those guys back. It'll be great to honor, one of Coach Brown's Final Four teams that, still is amazing. And I know Tiger fans that follow basketball, it's not a surprise, but it still kind of amazes me they were an 11 seed, which is the lowest seed at that time, obviously, to get to the Final Four. So that'll be cool. But I think that when you look at this basketball team, Hunt, and, I'll get on social media, let me have it. I don't really care. I look at things through purple and gold lenses. I think because they have gotten so close, I think if they can just get that one, and to me, Missouri is prime for the picking because I think Missouri's a very good team. I think if you beat Missouri, who's 3-1 in the league, who has a win over Kentucky, and you beat them on Saturday, that's not you beat Missouri. You beat a very good team. Yeah. And to me, that could flip the switch for this team, which certainly they need to start stringing some wins together.
They have to before it gets a little bit too late. Chris, we'll see you on the PMAC on Saturday.
You got it, boss.
Chris Blair, voice of the Tigers, LSU in Missouri, Saturday, honoring the 86 Final Four team. Would have been, I guess, 40 years since they were a Cinderella run to the Final Four as an 11 seed. Speaking of college basketball, there's been some wagers placed. They were fraudulent, a lot of money changing hands, and now some people are in big trouble, and some of them have LSU ties. We'll talk about that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is that website. Jonathan Carver and his team, just phenomenal folks to work with. They're experts when it comes to insurance. A lot of times, business owners, I was in the business 7 years, a lot of times business owners say, hey, flip to the back page of this proposal. What's the premium say? And that's one way you can handle your insurance. If that's the way you've always handled it, I understand that. Dollars and cents are king. But the worst thing you can do is spend that money on insurance and then have a loss that's not covered because there's some exclusion, some stipulation, or some fine print in the policy you didn't quite pay attention to. At the Highland Insurance Group, they have experts that read every page. They know what carriers have what exclusions, depending on your line of work, what you need to have and where you need to be placed. And that keeps in mind premium as well. They don't just dismiss premium. Absolutely. They're an independent broker. They can shop your program and make sure you're with the right carrier at the right price, but they'll make sure that you've got the right coverage because you don't know when that hurricane's coming. You don't know when that car accident's happening. You don't know when some employee clicks the wrong email and you've got a cyber breach. EPL lawsuits. These things happen. You need to have the insurance in place to cover it. So contact the Highland Insurance Group and let them just take a look at your current program. Let them take a look at your policies. And they'll let you know if you're in the right spot or if they can greatly improve it. They can. They love your business. The Highland Insurance Group. Find them online at HighlandIG.com.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit LouisianaPropane.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
This new year, Hood Dental wants you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays, a $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care, Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And for January only, save 15% up to $150 on restorative treatment. Schedule today at hooddentalcare.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Siger Farms.
Thursday shows brought to you by Siger Farms Premium Angus Beef. Shout out to my friends at Fabry Chevrolet GMC, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Savory family's been doing business in Baton Rouge better than 3 decades. You know the name, you know the reputation, you know the customer service. And I'll tell you, they got an unbelievable inventory at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Huge. You can see it all online at FabryChevrolet.com. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. So if you're up there in the Felicianas, up there in Point Capee, short drive over to St. Francisville. If you're here in Baton Rouge, it's right up the road in St. Francisville on Highway 61. Huge inventory. Tahoes, Silverados, Suburbans, Sierras, Yukons, Denali's. Looking for a truck, looking for an SUV, looking for a new or a pre-owned. You can find it online at FabryChevrolet.com or on Highway 61 in St. Francisville at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. So if you are unaware, LSU's not involved in this point shaving scandal in college basketball, but some LSU adjacent folks are involved here with this scandal that is going to get a lot of people in a lot of trouble. The first name, 96% of you are not going to remember. Like, y'all are not going to recall this. I was doing a basketball podcast at the time. I was really invested in the basketball team at the time. And if you really follow basketball, you'll remember Bradley Azuero. He came in under Will Wade, and he played one season, 2021-2022, and he played in 7 games and was not back with the team. He ended up at Georgetown, then St. Louis, then UAB, finished his career in 2025 as a Blazer. But in 2023-24, he got mixed up with some bad dudes. And they started fixing some games, and they started placing some huge bets. Marvis Fairley and Roderick Winkler are 2 guys that started placing these bets, and they recruited Bradley Azuero when he was at St. Louis. Now, I mentioned this in the previous segment, but I'm going to use the word again. I don't know Marvis Fairley and Roderick Winkler. Never met him. Never heard them talk. No clue about anything about him other than what I've seen in this criminal indictment. These 2 dudes are not too bright. Like, this is stupid. They placed $242,000 worth of bets on Duquesne to cover the first half spread on St. Louis. That's where Bradley Azuero was playing. $242,000 on Duquesne first half. You don't think that's going to send off some alarms with the feds? Like, this brings me back to the ridiculous story of the Alabama coach's buddy placing the bet in Cincinnati when Luke Holman wasn't starting against Skeens. And he's running up to the window going, guys, you got to let me place this bet. You don't know what I know. How dumb can you be? $242,000 on the Duquesne Dukes to cover the first half spread against the Billikens of St. Louis. And Bradley Azuero helping them cover. It was a 5-point line, by the way. First half line was 5. Halftime score, Duquesne 41, St. Louis 27, a spread of 14. Pay the man until the feds find out. And then you give all the money back, and then you go to jail. Second half of that game, St. Louis outscored Duquesne 40-39 and lost the game by 13 points. $242K on Duquesne first half money line. But it doesn't stop there. Old Roderick and Marvis were back at it with their buddy Shane Hennett. And they dropped down $100,000 on McNeese to cover against Nichols. $100,000 on McNeese to cover against Nichols.
Okay, you lost me. McNeese, $100,000 on McNeese.
And what's beautiful about the text messages that they uncovered that are in this document, they texted about it and said McNeese State, McNease.
Oh, wow.
So not only are we laying $100K on the Cowboys, we don't know how to spell it, but we know that's where we got to be. And someone that was involved in this, you will remember his name. You may not remember Bradley Azuero. You'll remember this one, Antonio Blakeney. Antonio Blakeney was a 5-star.
Yeah.
Came in under Johnny Jones, played with Ben Simmons for a year. Good two-guard. Had explosive hops. He could score. He had a cup of coffee with the Bulls. Could play. But he's involved in this as somebody that has been recruited, and Blakeney was actually involved in some shaving in China, it appears. He was playing overseas in China. He's doing that. It's just not bright. Like, I understand that you're not going to tempt fate and do something illegal for $50 here or there, but we can't be dumping 6-figure bets on Southland Conference basketball games and think we're going to get away with this with the feds. I know they spread it out, but still, you're not. It's your account. They know where the money goes. You keep doing this and you keep winning, you have no chance. And it just blows my mind that people think they're going to get away with this. Clearly, and this isn't, like, I know this is going on because they've got all the documents. They're arresting people. But clearly, people are doing this to some extent and getting away with it. Because if that wasn't happening, then these people wouldn't be stupid enough to throw $242K down on Duquesne first half -5. Did Jimmy and Charlie talk about this on their show today?
Oh, they talked about it.
Sweet Moses. I cannot believe this.
They had a good point, though. It was like, this is not about gambling being legalized and this is going on. No, this is about it being legalized now, and now you're finally starting to catch people because it's legalized, and now all the money is,
traceable.
Yeah, it's traceable.
You're in an app.
So that's basically what they were getting at. It's like, it's not about, sports betting being legalized. It's about, now it's legalized, and now we can catch people like this. Like you said, putting $100,000 on McNeese. Like, I just can't believe
not
that.
Like Uncut Gems, or if you're looking for a little softer, like Hardball with Keanu Reeves, where you place that bet with the underground bookie.
Good.
And maybe he finds out, maybe he doesn't. If he finds out, like, he's the one you got to worry about. Like, this is like you're paying the app.
Yes.
The app has it. The app has your bank account.
Location.
The app has all your. It has everything.
Social Security.
My heavens! Everyone thinks they've got it until they don't, and they get caught. And I get that whole deal. But I can't imagine this deal. And the scary thing is, like, my hope is, just for people's sake, like, my hope is that people read this. People are aware of this. You are not going to pull one over on the feds here. You're not. Especially when it's this public. And guys dumping 6-figure bets on the Bama LSU baseball game on a Friday night when a pitcher gets scratched, and then going nuts on the Southland. This is just think. But everybody's trying to get rich quick, I guess. And it's disappointing, obviously, to hear some of the folks that are connected to LSU. But just to be clear, nothing to do with LSU's program. Antonio Blakeney was long gone. Bradley Azuero was 3 years removed from LSU. Nothing to do with Will Wade's McNeese team or anything. Like, it's not nothing like that. It's guys that are just blowing games. And when you legalize gambling, you further popularize gambling because it's easier to get bets down. You've got now more hats in the ring. And everybody, like, it's just anything that happens online, somebody's going to try to be first or try to be the most clever and try to figure something out. But this is just not one you want to dance with.
Oh, I mean, and when you said Blakely was he was rigging Chinese games. So the fact that people was here in America having to wake up at like 5 a.m. just to even catch these games going on across the world that's a problem right there in itself.
I'm curious, these numbers, like, and because some of the bets didn't cash, and they lost every once in a while, and then when they lose, you've got the person who's supposed to throw it has to pay money back and that kind of stuff. It's a fascinating thing to read. But one of the thoughts that I had when I was reading it was I'm trying to. The last time I played real basketball was in high school, but I'm trying to think about how to shave points without it being blatantly obvious.
Ooh.
And like, you're handling the ball, your job's to throw it, wing to wing, and you just throw a bad pass and you let them get a run out there. Clearly you can miss shots. Like, that's something you can do, but there's 9 other guys out there. And so it's hard to ensure that they're making shots. It's hard to ensure that your teammates are missing shots. I understand, like, there are time and places, and there are players that are important enough that when they have an off game, especially shooting, like this came to my mind. No one will get this reference. But when I was a kid, you can look him up on Wikipedia or wherever. Ronnie McCullum played for Centenary in Shreveport. Have you even heard of Centenary?
Never heard of it.
Robert Parrish went to Centenary. It's in Shreveport. It's tiny. But we used to go. It was the only college basketball game in town, and we used to go watch Centenary play. And the Gold Dome's tiny, like 150 people there, 200 people there, but they played. And he was really good. He actually he was like just shy of setting the NCAA record for consecutive free throws made.
Okay.
But I'm a kid. I'm in 4th, 5th grade, and I'm watching Ronnie McCullum. He's like Steph Curry and JJ Redick. He's running off screens the entire game, just chucking threes. He's the whole team. Well, if I get a hold of that guy, I can promise we're not going to cover. If I can get him to go 3 for 21 from the floor, like, we're going to cover that game. But, like, in a real game, like, who would I go to on this LSU team and be like, you got to throw the game? If Deon Thomas is out, like, McKinnon, I guess. But McKinnon went 4 for 16 last night. And they had Kentucky beat. Like, fix it. I'm curious how that mental gymnastics goes, trying to throw the game and not be blatantly obvious. Miss a free throw here and there, but like, I think that's high pressure. You think it's pressure going out there in Game 7 of the NBA Finals? They got $242,000 on you, and you got to make sure you cover, or you're paying $30,000 back.
And you can't make it obvious, like you said. Like, you have to go out there and just look like you're having the worst game of all time.
Man, just.
Because, I mean, look, you see what's going on in the NBA with Terry
Kids
Rozier.
out there, I think there's maybe a kid or two. Listen, it's 2:43. Kids out there, don't shave points and don't try to fix basketball games. You will get caught. You will go to jail.
Put the FanDuel down, man. Let's go outside.
You want to wager responsibly? I'm all for that. I don't do it because I can't win. We saw me handicapping SEC games. It's terrible. I'll probably lay a few bucks on the Super Bowl just because I want a little extra action there. It's a one time a year. Yeah. I bet. This is my entire betting for the entire year.
What's your portfolio?
Here it is. The whole portfolio.
Yeah.
$100 on the Super Bowl.
Okay.
$250 on fantasy football.
Okay.
$100 on fantasy golf. That's it. That's the portfolio. That's the year. Oh, it's the best.
Just a fantasy
Starts
golf?
today, baby. The
What's the draft? You already drafted?
No, there's no draft. It's a one and done. You pick one golfer every week.
Okay.
However much money he wins that week goes into your pot, and that's how you keep up. And if you pick a golfer once, you can't pick him again. So this week, we got to have – who did I take this week? I can't remember. It's the first week. But they started like 3 hours ago. Can't even remember who I took. But it's early. We got to get off to a good start at the Sony in Hawaii. Don't fix basketball games, kid. You will get caught. You will go to jail. Don't do that. We'll come back and close it out.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust. You know what's smart money managing? Not fixing basketball games. It's doing business with the people at First American Bank and Trust. They've been doing it for 116 years. Opened up in 1910. 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. No matter where you are in South Louisiana, there's a First American Bank and Trust near you. That means St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, across the I-12 corridor. Maybe Dutchtown, Jones Creek, right here close to Baton Rouge. Even down in St. John, Lafourche, Terrebonne. That's where you'll find the locations. 25 of them. If you're looking for a commercial loan, commercial loans, they got you covered. They got all the assets you need with those 25 locations, and all the decisions are made locally. You're not calling Atlanta. You're not calling Chicago. You're not calling New York. You're calling Southeast Louisiana. The people you do business with, the people you interact with day in and day out, they walk the streets with you every day. They go to church with you. Their kids play with your kids on those Little League teams. It's First American Bank and Trust. Commercial loan, residential loan, 116 years here in Southeast Louisiana. First American Bank and Trust.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
This new year, Hood Dental wants you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays, a $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care, Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And for January only, save 15% up to $150 on restorative treatment. Schedule today at hooddentalcare.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Siger Farms.
Siger Farms Premium Angus Beef, bringing our Thursday shows. If you're looking for the most tender, flavorful beef that you've ever had in your home, Siger Farms Premium Angus Beef has to be where you go next. There's only 2 places to get Siger Farms beef. Supper Club and Siger Farms. That's it. It's been a game changer in my house, I will tell you that. My wife just loves the ground beef, use it for burgers. It is great. I love the steaks. I love a good steak, and I don't like at all a mediocre steak. And it bums me out whenever I would go to a place in town and grab a ribeye and then come home and cook it. It's just not what I'm looking for. It's just not the quality of piece of meat I'm looking for. I'm not snobby, and I use air quotes there, on a lot of things. Like, I'm good with a lot of things that are not the best of the best. When it comes to a piece of beef, that needs to be good. And it is at Siger Farms, and they can promise you that. Everything that they have at Siger Farms is prime. You don't have to worry about where it comes from. You don't have to worry about antibiotics. You don't have to worry about steroids. You're getting a cow, one DNA in that cow that you bring home. You fill that freezer when it's time to make burgers, when it's time to make a flank steak for a salad, when it's time to make a ribeye, or you're having folks over to watch a game and you want a bunch of fillets, you want a chuck roast that's the best you've ever had. Siger Farms Premium Angus Beef can do that for you. They're just north of Baton Rouge in Ethel. Go to the farm. See Sean. Take a tour. Look around. It's an impressive operation, and you will be blown away by the quality of the beef they've got at Siger Farms. We certainly have been in the Palmer house. My entire extended family got a taste there on Christmas and New Year's, and it is awesome. They bring you our Thursday shows each and every week. Siger Farms Premium Angus Beef. All right, take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, we're going to start it off with Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill. His social media activity has raised some eyebrows in recent weeks as he's caused a stir today as he posted on Twitter a cryptic tweet saying, "I want to go home." As Tyreek Hill played his last game for the Dolphins. Take it or leave it.
Take it.
Gotcha.
I'll take it. I don't know. Where does he want to go? Like, back to his childhood home?
That's why it's a cryptic. He just says, "I want to go home." Now everybody's speculating. Does that mean again?
Maybe he's on vacation and the service is bad at the hotel. He just wants to go home.
Could be at Disney World and ready to get up out of there.
Maybe his car broke down on the side of the road. He's sick of standing there. It's hot in Miami.
Hey, he's crippled at the moment. Might need somebody to come pick him up. Get him in his wheelchair or something.
Maybe he's at physical therapy and he's not happy there at physical therapy. He doesn't want to be there anymore. Wants to go home. Could be.
Also,
you never know.
You got Tua as your quarterback. It's time to go home too. It's time to get up out of there. So let's just say
I don't know that Tyreek Hill's going to age very well.
No.
Speed guy. That speed goes away.
And he doesn't have the best catching. He's more of a catch the ball and go. So it's like
he can go.
So John Harbaugh has found a new home with the New York Giants, signing a 5-year, $100 million deal to lead the G-Men. Now, let me know this, Hunt. Is this a good hire for the Giants? Pretty early, so take it or leave it.
Take it. I think it's great.
I'll take it.
You can't guarantee anything, but John Harbaugh had a heck of a run. Now, you're not going to have him come in and revolutionize your offense or your defense. He knows how to run an organization, knows how to hire people. And
CEO.
I think the Giants could use a little stability.
Yeah.
I think they could use a little bit of grown up in the room. They got bad ownership.
For Dart, too.
Yeah, no doubt. And so, we'll see who he can hire and surround him. But if I'm a Giants fan for the first time in a while, I'm pretty encouraged by that. I think it's a great hire.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about it. It's probably their most accomplished coach since Tomlin. I'm not Tomlin, Coughlin back in the day.
I wonder what Joe Burrow thinks about the fact that John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin are gone.
That's a good question.
I mean, that's theoretically your competition unless you're scared of the Browns.
But knowing Joe, he's probably looking at dinosaur bones right now.
Probably so.
Yeah, I'm about to say
probably gaming a little bit.
Yeah, doing a little game, a little Legos. So
maybe thinking about what he's going to wear to the next fashion event.
Definitely. I'm about to say he's definitely a fly guy. So yesterday with the news of Dante Moore returning back to school, recent quarterback transfer Dylan Raiola, obviously committed days before.
Yep.
Well, it's being reported that Raiola will stay in red shirt behind Moore. Moore will continue to be the starter, and Raiola, he's rehabbing from a broken leg or something like that. So is this a smart move by Dylan Raiola to go in red shirt? Take it or leave it?
Take it. It's fine.
I'll take it.
You got 5 years. You get paid.
5 years.
I'm sure Phil's paying up there in Eugene.
They're paying nice.
I'm not sure about the weather up there. A little gloomy at times, but hey, I think it's fine. Everybody's wanting to transfer, play, and I get wanting to play, but sometimes waiting a little bit is okay too. So we'll see. Speaking of Joe Burrow, waiting was okay for him.
Also, it's a little weird because, you're going from being a starter for 2 years and then being like, you know what, I'm going to take the back seat and I'm going to just learn this time. So at first I thought it was more like an awkward situation that he wasn't expecting Moore to come back, but, going to take that red shirt. So we're going to see Dylan Raiola in 2027. So that's it for take it or leave it.
I know you were concerned. It's been about 7 minutes, so I wanted to fill you in. Okay. I found out who I picked in fantasy golf.
Yes,
I know you were concerned.
Very.
Chris Kirk.
Kirk.
Former Georgia Bulldog. Doesn't hit it the longest, but that's okay at the Sony. I'm excited to go home tonight, get the kids in bed, and turn on some primetime Hawaii golf, baby. Goes until 10:30 tonight. We like that. PGA Tour's back.
So that means this is like a Saturday when people try and go chase Hawaii at the end of the night. Like, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's just I never get to watch golf at 9:30 at night live. Plus, it's cold here. It'll be dark, and there it's gorgeous, sunny, and looks great. It's just kind of a taste of the summer when you're sit here in the winter.
Hey, man.
I like that. Most don't, but that's all right.
No, we're coming, man.
To each his own is what they say. That's it for our Thursday show, brought to you by Siger Farms Premium Angus Beef. Talked LSU basketball against Kentucky, just a heartbreaker there. Little Saints with Luke Johnson. You can find that interview online at Hunt on Saints, wherever you find your podcast, of course, on YouTube as well. I gave a couple of targets in the transfer portal I'd like LSU to look at, one at linebacker, one on the offensive line. You can catch that at Hunt on LSU. Plus, my thoughts on Trey Wilson and the Florida transfer, who is really opened my eyes this morning on a highlight tape. And then we talked a little bit to Chris Blair as well. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further Review. Back tomorrow for a Friday edition of The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
After a decade of work,